Welcome to Kingdom Mindset. Today we are in Proverbs 15, and I want to start with a question before we even open the text. When was the last time something someone said to you changed everything? Maybe it was a word of encouragement that came at exactly the right moment and gave you the strength to keep going. Or maybe it was something harsh, something careless, something spoken in anger. And years later you can still feel it. Words do not disappear when the sound stops. They live inside people. They shape decisions, build confidence, create wounds, and open doors. Proverbs 15 is almost entirely about the power of what comes out of your mouth and what that reveals about what is living inside your heart. Let's go verse by verse. Verse 1. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. This is one of the most practical and most disobeyed verses in all of Scripture. When someone comes at you with heat, your instinct is to match the temperature. But Proverbs 15 opens with this truth. The person who controls their response controls the entire situation. A gentle answer is not weakness. It is the most powerful move available to you in a conflict. It disarms. It de-escalates. It exposes the aggressor without you having to say a single accusatory word. The next time someone comes at you angry, try the counterintuitive move. Lower your voice instead of raising it. The results will shock you. Verse 2. The tongue of the wise adorns knowledge, but the mouth of the fool gushes folly. The wise person thinks before speaking. They present what they know in a way that is useful, clear, and well-timed. The fool has no filter. Whatever comes up comes out, and it comes out in volume. Ask yourself honestly, does what comes out of your mouth make people wiser, or does it just fill space? Verse 3. The eyes of the Lord are everywhere, keeping watch on the wicked and the good. This is not surveillance, it is intimacy. God sees the hidden kindness no one applauded. He sees the private integrity no one rewarded. He sees the quiet faithfulness you have been maintaining in a season where no one seems to notice. Nothing is invisible to him, and that is a comfort, not a threat, for those who are trying to walk right. Verse 4. The soothing tongue is a tree of life, but a perverse tongue crushes the spirit. A tree of life. That is the image Proverbs uses for the person whose words bring healing, encouragement, clarity, and peace. Their presence restores people. On the other side, the perverse tongue, the one that twists, criticizes, tears down, gossips, and mocks, crushes the spirit. Not bruises, not inconveniences, crushes. Be honest with yourself. When people leave a conversation with you, are they more alive or less? Verse 5. A fool spurns a parent's discipline, but whoever heeds correction shows prudence. The ability to receive correction without becoming defensive is one of the rarest and most valuable qualities a person can develop. The fool hears feedback and feels attacked. The wise person hears the same feedback and asks what they can learn from it. Your relationship with correction is a direct indicator of how far you will go. Verse 6. The house of the righteous contains great treasure, but the income of the wicked brings ruin. What you accumulate through righteousness is durable. What you accumulate through compromise, deception, or exploitation carries a hidden cost that will eventually come due. Build slowly on solid ground. Do not envy the fast gains of those who cut corners. What they build will not hold. Verse 7. The lips of the wise spread knowledge, but the hearts of fools are not upright. What you speak consistently reveals what you actually believe. You cannot separate your words from your character for very long. Eventually, what is in the heart surfaces in the mouth. If you want to change what you say, you have to go deeper than speech. You have to deal with what is inside. Verse 8, the Lord detests the sacrifice of the wicked, but the prayer of the upright pleases him. This verse is a warning against religious performance. You can go through all the external motions, attendance, ritual, offering, and God is not moved. What he responds to is not the perfection of the act, but the integrity of the heart behind it. A simple, honest prayer from a surrendered heart reaches God faster than the most elaborate religious performance from a divided one. Verse 9, the Lord detests the way of the wicked, but he loves those who pursue righteousness. Notice the word pursue. Not those who have achieved perfection, not those who never fail, those who are actively, consistently moving in the direction of what is right. The pursuit itself is what God loves. You do not have to have arrived. You just have to be genuinely moving. Verse 10, stern discipline awaits anyone who leaves the path. The one who hates correction will die. This is one of the sharpest warnings in Proverbs 15. Leaving the path is serious, but what makes it fatal is not the leaving. It is the refusal to come back when correction comes. The person who can be corrected can always be restored. The person who hates correction has closed the very door through which restoration enters. Verse 11, death and destruction lie open before the Lord. How much more do human hearts? If the deepest places of the universe are visible to God, then certainly every corner of your heart is too. There is no thought you have hidden, no motive you have disguised, no wound you have buried too deep for him to see. This is terrifying if you are running. It is the most comforting thing in the world if you are willing to be known. Verse 12, mockers resent correction, so they avoid the wise. The mocker does not engage with wisdom. They avoid it because wisdom exposes them. If you find yourself consistently avoiding certain people, certain messages, certain convictions, it is worth asking why. Sometimes the thing we most resist is the thing we most need. Verse 13, a happy heart makes the face cheerful, but heartache crushes the spirit. You cannot fake your way past what is happening inside for very long. The internal state will surface. This is not a call to toxic positivity. It is a call to deal with what is actually happening in your heart, because it is affecting more than you realize. If your spirit is crushed right now, bring it to God. Do not try to manage it alone on the surface. Verse 14, the discerning heart seeks knowledge, but the mouth of a fool feeds on folly. What are you feeding your mind? What do you consume? The content you watch, the conversations you invite, the thoughts you entertain, is forming you. The wise person is intentional about input because they understand that what goes in eventually comes out. Verse 15, all the days of the oppressed are wretched, but the cheerful heart has a continual feast. Two people can be in identical circumstances and have completely different experiences because one brings a wretched internal state to every day, and the other brings a heart that has found something to be grateful for. This is not about pretending hard things are not hard. It is about cultivating an orientation toward life that finds the feast even in difficult seasons. Verse 16, better a little with the fear of the Lord than great wealth with turmoil. This verse will not make sense to you until you have experienced both. Many people spend years chasing the great wealth, and when they finally get it, The turmoil that comes with the compromises they made to get it makes the wealth feel hollow. A little, held in peace, with God at the center, is worth infinitely more than an abundance that costs you your sleep, your integrity, and your relationships. Verse 17. Better a small serving of vegetables with love than a fattened calf with hatred. The quality of the environment you eat in matters more than the quality of the food. Proverbs is saying, the richest table in a house full of tension and resentment is a miserable meal. A simple meal shared with people who genuinely love each other is a feast. Do not sacrifice your relationships for an upgraded lifestyle. Verse 18. A hot-tempered person stirs up conflict, but the one who is patient calms a quarrel. You are either a stabilizing presence or a destabilizing one. Your default emotional temperature affects every room you enter, every conversation you join, every relationship you are part of. The patient person does not just avoid conflict, they actively reduce it by their presence. What temperature do you bring into the room? Verse 19. The way of the sluggard is blocked by thorns, but the path of the upright is a highway. The lazy person experiences constant obstruction. Every small difficulty becomes a reason to stop. The person of integrity moves on a clear path because they have done the character work that removes the hidden friction. Disobedience, compromise, and laziness create thorns. Faithfulness creates a highway. Verse 20. A wise son brings joy to his father, but a foolish man despises his mother. The way you honor or dishonor the people who raised you and invested in you is a statement about your character. This is not about having a perfect family or pretending painful dynamics do not exist. It is about the orientation of your heart toward those who gave you a foundation, however imperfect. Verse 21. Folly brings joy to one who has no sense, but whoever has understanding keeps a straight course. The person without wisdom enjoys the foolish detour. It is exciting. It is novel. It feels like freedom. The person with understanding keeps a straight course, not because they are boring, but because they have seen enough to know where the detours lead. Maturity is choosing the straight road even when the side road looks more interesting. Verse 22. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. One of the most common and most preventable reasons people fail is that they made a major decision alone. Pride says I do not need input. Wisdom says the more important the decision, the more voices I want around me before I move. Who are your advisors? Do you actually have them? Do you actually listen to them? Verse 23. A person finds joy in giving an apt reply. And how good is a timely word? The right word at the right moment is one of the greatest gifts one human being can give another. Not the cleverest word, not the most impressive word, the timely one. The one that meets a person exactly where they are and says exactly what they needed to hear. Ask God to make you that kind of person for someone today. Verse 24. The path of life leads upward for the prudent to keep them from going down to the realm of the dead. Wisdom is not just about success in this life. It is about the direction of your entire trajectory. Every wise choice moves you upward. Every foolish one moves you downward. The sum of your daily decisions is building a direction. Where is yours pointing? Verse 25. The Lord tears down the house of the proud, but he maintains the widow's boundaries. God actively opposes pride and actively protects the vulnerable. These are not passive tendencies. They are deliberate acts of a God who sees power dynamics and intervenes. If you are in a season where what you built seems to be coming apart, ask honestly whether pride has been part of the foundation. And if you are in a season of feeling unprotected and overlooked, know that God is not neutral about your situation. Verse 26. The Lord detests the thoughts of the wicked, but gracious words are pure in His sight. Your thought life is not private from God. What you entertain in your mind, the resentments you rehearse, the schemes you imagine, the contempt you nurse in silence, God sees it. Gracious words begin as gracious thoughts. The transformation of your speech starts in the transformation of what you allow to live in your mind. Verse 27. The greedy bring ruin to their households, but the one who hates bribes will live. Greed does not just destroy the individual, it destroys the household. The people closest to you pay the price for your compromises. The person who refuses to be bought, who will not bend their integrity for financial gain, protects not just themselves, but everyone who depends on them. Verse 28. The heart of the righteous weighs its answers, but the mouth of the wicked gushes evil. Return again to the image of weighing. The righteous person does not just say the first thing that comes to mind. They hold it, examine it, ask whether it is true and whether it is the right moment, and then they speak. This is not timidity. This is precision. Develop the practice of the pause before you respond. Verse 29. The Lord is far from the wicked, but He hears the prayer of the righteous. Distance from God is not something that happens to you. It is something that accumulates through repeated choices to walk away from what is right. And closeness to God is not an accident either. It is the result of consistently choosing His way, even when it is costly. The righteous person's prayer is heard because their life has not put distance between them and the God they are praying to. Verse 30. Light in a messenger's eyes brings joy to the heart, and good news gives health to the bones. Be the person who carries good news. Be the presence that brings light into a room, not as a performance, but as an overflow of a life that has genuinely found something worth being glad about. Your countenance affects people more than you realize. The way you carry yourself either deposits something into others or draws something out of them. Verse 31. Whoever heeds life-giving correction will be at home among the wise. The ability to receive correction is what earns you a seat among the wise. Not your intellect, not your gifting, not your credentials. Your willingness to be corrected. Every time you receive feedback with humility instead of defensiveness, you move one step closer to the room where wisdom lives. Verse 32. Those who disregard discipline despise themselves, but the one who heeds correction gains understanding. When you refuse correction, you are not protecting yourself. You are harming yourself. You are choosing to stay in error rather than pay the small price of humility. Every time you reject discipline, you are making a statement about how little you value your own growth. Receive correction as a gift. It is one of the most expensive things another person can offer you. Verse 33. Wisdom's instruction is to fear the Lord, and humility comes before honor. Proverbs 15 ends exactly where it must. Humility before honor. You do not get to the honor without walking through the humility. Every person you admire, every life you want to model, if you look at the full story, there was a season of humility, of hiddenness, of correction accepted, of pride surrendered. That season is not the detour. That season is the road. Walk it well. Proverbs 15 gave us one central challenge today. Your words are either building people or destroying them. And the only way to change what comes out of your mouth is to deal with what is living in your heart. A gentle answer, a soothing tongue, timely words, gracious thoughts. This is what the kingdom mindset sounds like, not just in big moments, but in every conversation, every reply, every day. If this message helped you, subscribe so you don't miss Proverbs 16. Share this with someone who needs to hear it today. God bless you.